Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records. And last night I went out to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater with my buddy Mike, formerly known as Riverport Amphitheater in Maryland Heights, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, and saw Toto. It's my third time seeing Toto. Christopher Cross opened up. Men at Work was in this 2 slot, and Toto headlined, and they proved why they were headlined because they were so great. I want to shout out to Dave and Angie, who gave us 2 tickets in the 15th row and made our night. Was thinking to myself after Christopher Cross's great set and after Men at Work absolutely killing it. And by the way, those are all separate reviews. I'll put those in the description below. I'm like, I know Toto's going to be good though. Even though Men at Work killed it, you're a headliner for a reason, because you take it up one more notch. And that's what Toto did. They're still led by Steve Lukather, or Luke, as I'm going to call him from here on out. One of the great session players of all time. You know, all the Lionel Richie records, played on Thriller, did all the guitar work on Beat It, except for the solo that Eddie Van Halen did. You know, worked with Boz Scaggs, and if you look at the albums that he's played on everything. And we have Joseph Williams still in the band. He's been in the band since '86. And we'll talk about former members and other members in the band as we go through this review. I'm going to go track by track. Check out my channel. We only talk about great music every day here on Intersection Records. And subscribe if you like this content. And hit the like button if you don't mind. Open up with Child's Anthem, which is off of their debut 1978 album called Toto. Lukather's got a blue Music Man guitar. Reminds me of my buddy Mike's guitar, who I was with. Mike had a guitar customly made. He actually made it with a luthier. Kind of reminded me that kind of deep blue, high intensity rock. Their keyboard player, Dennis Atlas, is absolutely killing the backing vocals and some lead vocals on the song. We'll get into Dennis Atlas a little bit later too. Really, he was a Swiss Army knife guy for the whole show and provided incredible vocals and keys and everything else. I looked at his website. He plays drums, guitar, everything. He's played with Ron Thal, Bumblefoot Thal. He's played with Marco Minimum from the Aristocrats. Joseph Williams is still on lead. Joseph Williams, again, has been in the band since '86. His father was John Williams, the composer of E.T. soundtrack and Star Wars and everything else, and Jaws. And Luke is absolutely crushing it on guitar. The next song is called Carmen. I don't have any notes on it. But then the next song is Rosanna. Mike's coming back with beers. They're playing the beginning of Rosanna. It's good. Walnut brown Music Man now. He's got a walnut brown alder body, mahogany back and sides, a maple cap. It's beautiful. Rosewood fretboard. Music Man was a company founded in 1974 by one of the guys that worked at the Fullerton plant with Leo Fender. All the way back to 1954. Leo was a silent partner because he had a non-compete clause with CBS that bought Fender in '65. Long story. Joseph Williams kind of looks like an older version of Kid Rock, but Joseph Williams' voice is crushing it. And you know, it's a tough song to sing. If you've ever tried to sing Rosanna, there's all I want to do in the middle of your time, right? I mean, he's nailing it. The piano outro was done so well by Greg Fillinganes. Maybe not as great as Mike Sitchy can do it. And Mike's like, yacht rock my ass on this song. This is rock music. Rosanna was killed. Steve was, again, crushing it. Drummer Shannon Forrest was unreal on that song. He's been in the band since 14. The next song was called 99 off their second album, Hydra, from 1979. Immediately, he gets a new green Music Man guitar. So he's switching guitars all night. Luke's on vocals on this. Dennis Atlas has a big synth solo. Is Steve Lukather the Jimi Hendrix of yacht rock? If Steely Dan's the Led Zeppelin and Christopher Cross is the Bob Dylan, is Steve Lukather the Jimi Hendrix of yacht rock? We're going to do a show on that. Mike and I are going to do a show on, is Kenny Loggins the Elvis of yacht rock? We're going to do a show on that. Put down in the comments if you think we should do a show like that. Minefields was next off their 1999 album called Minefield. This was a fan request. Williams is on vocals. The backing vocals are tremendous, and that's one of the signatures of Toto. Not only are they amazing instrumentally, but their singing is so on point. Pamela is next. This is a David Paich, Joseph Williams written song. David Paich is no longer in the band, although he is technically still a member of the band and of the business. And sometimes he does sit in with them. He was the piano player with the hat back in the day. Song about an old girlfriend from the 80s, Latin feel. The band is on the screws. The next song is called I Won't Hold You Back from Toto 4 from 1982, which is basically their masterpiece album, right? Gorgeous piano intro, a super ballad to think about all the years you were mine, he says in the song. Angels Don't Cry was next. Sounds like a song off the Ultimate Sin Ozzy Osbourne album from 1986. I don't know why there was that kind of 80s rock thing going on. Atlas is now fronting the band. So this Dennis Atlas, young kid, I was calling him the guy with the perm when I was taking my notes during the show. God, how nerdy is that to take notes during a Toto show? I don't know. Anyway, Georgie Porgy was next off of their debut. Kind of getting funky. I'm an addict for your love, right? He says. The bongo player is now playing flute. I'm not sure what the bongo player's name is, but I think he played some keyboards too. White Sister is next off their second album, Hydra. Another rocker, Luke, on this a blue Music Man now. That kind of was blue, but then faded into like a rainbow trout colors, or maybe a brown trout, maybe blue to brown trout to rainbow trout. I was looking hard at that guitar in those colors at that point in the show. Luke is a god, is what I wrote in my notes. Just incredible interplay. Luke is a god on guitar. He's amazing. Doesn't hit a bad note. And I've watched interviews with him where he'll go back through solos that he's done on people's records. They sound exactly the same. His memory must be unbelievable. I'll Be Over You off 1986's Fahrenheit. Soon as my heart stops breaking, Michael McDonald, anticipating. So I love that song, I'll Be Over You. That's a guilty pleasure ballad of mine. He dedicated it to Jeff Beccaro, the founding member and drummer, one of the great drummers of all time. And he said, today's a special day. And I was thinking, man, maybe it was his birth. Maybe it was Jeff Beccaro's birthday. Jeff Beccaro died. Yesterday was 33 years since his death. The exact day, August 5th, 1992. He was inducted into the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame the next year, 1993. He played on The Pretender by Jackson Browne, Lido Shuffle by Boz Scaggs, Katie Lied, Beat It, The Girl Is Mine, Human Nature, which was written by his brother, Steve Beccaro, who's no longer in the band either. And Mike Beccaro was their brother who's on bass. He's no longer in the band. And they're all sons of Joe Beccaro, who was a session percussionist. It's a musical family. One of the great musical families. Maybe we'll do a show about great musical families. The Beccaro brothers are there amongst other people. There are no guarantees. There are no alibis. Again, Luke is a god. Stop Loving You is next. He said they let me sing this song, and they did. Greg Fillinganes is on keyboards from Detroit. Greg Fillinganes played in Stevie Wonder's band from 76 to 81. He did 3 decades playing piano for Michael Jackson. Think about that, starting in 78. Dennis Atlas, again, a multi-instrumental player, played with Bumblefoot, played with Marco Minimum, mega talent, singer, plays all instruments. Warren Ham was on sax. Warren Ham has been in Toto off and on since 86. He's been in Ringo Starr's band since 14. Joe Pierce, who's been Huey Lewis's bass player since 1995, was on bass, and of course, Joe Williams. I'll Supply the Love was next, and now Dennis Atlas, this young 28-year-old kid's running around the front of the stage like a rock star, full blown, not up behind the keyboards, fronting Toto and nailing it. I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this guy's going to be the next lead singer. If something happens to Joe, knock on wood, Joe Williams, this kid is going to be that guy that leads Toto, even maybe after Luke's gone, because that's what we're getting into. We're finishing up the burning embers of rock and roll. That's what I talked to Mike about last night. That my channel is documenting that, and this next run of people are going to be leading, just like that new singer Maldonado's in Foreigner and whatever, and they're not retiring anytime soon. Anyway, I'll shut up. Hold the Line was next. Love isn't always on time. Oh, whoa, whoa. And again, the band is just freaking blazing. And Luke is running through lines, and you catch yourself watching the video screens because they're showing him bend these notes with these 2 fingers, and it's perfect. And then, of course, they closed with Africa, right? You have to. Colin Hayes back out. Colin Hayes' band back out. Colin Hayes sings a verse in the song. An amazing version of a song that we all know, that we all love. And what a night of great music. Want to thank Mike. Want to thank Dave. Want to thank his wife, Angie. Want to thank Rock and Roll Joe and his wife for putting up with us, dancing all over them. And check out my channel. Subscribe if you like this content. Again, we only talk about great music here on Intersection Records every day. Peace out. See you.